Every few days I get like, hey, is Yawgmoth like a good deck in Modern? And it always makes top 32 or top 8, and now it's actually won the entire Modern Challenge. Here we've got from Demonic Tutors, first place finish, version of Yawgmoth. Now, it did get some upgrades from Modern Horizons too. They're now playing with Grist, the Hunger Tide, which I guess is a pretty good card in their deck. It's some good utility. You can sack a creature and destroy creatures, and they don't mind. They don't mind sacrificing creatures. They got the Geralf's Messenger with Undying. Same thing with the Yawgmoth. So they've got the synergy there, and also they can Court of Calling it into play. They've always been playing with Court of Calling, and they got Eldritch Evolution. Same deal. So you can like sacrifice your Birds of Paradise, get a Grist, or even sacrifice the Yawgmoth, and then get your Grist, the Hunger Tide out. Now, beyond that, like it's an okay card. It's got, you know, it's got utility, but of course the big daddy is Yawgmoth, Thran, Physician. And you pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature, and draw a card. And with Geralf's Messenger on the battle, 2 Geralf's Messengers on the battlefield, which you can Chord in play, Eldritch Evolution in play. You sack one, you put a -1/-1 counter to undo the +1/+1 counter. You just sack them, sack each other. You lose 1 life, but your opponent loses 2 life until your opponent is dead. Oh, they're also snuck in a little Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, you know, saves some life now. You know, in the late game, those fetch lands may be doing some pain, and also they're running Endurance. Anything else that's new? Force of Vigor is old. These are all these. Oh! Outland Liberator. Pay 1, sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. That's interesting. What's the other side? What says the other side? Sacrifice it, still does the same thing. Whenever it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. I'd be curious what this is exactly for. There is a lot of good options in green for destroying artifacts or enchantments, especially with like just ETB effects. But there we go. Here we go. It's there you got it. So this is Yawgmoth that won first place. Is it a good deck in Modern? Yes. Yes, it is a good deck. It's a very, very, very good deck. Your Yawgmoth only needs good pilots. That's exactly what it needs. Are you the good pilot for Yawgmoth? Are you willing to take up the challenge to mastering this deck to obliterate everyone in Modern? Well, it can be a real thing. When do you main versus sideboard Thoughtseize? This list gives me. So, especially with a combo deck like this, you're going to be bringing in Thoughtseize almost like against a lot of different decks, I'm assuming, especially to beat the hate cards. So you like go, like game 1, you don't have to beat any hate cards, right? There's nothing. It's game 1. You're up against your opponent's main deck. And then I'm sure they're bringing in Thoughtseize for the opponent's sideboard cards. Not to mention, it's just a good card versus other combo decks as well. So, I guess you could squeeze it in the main somewhere, but I think the list is pretty tight. It might also be a case of bringing it in when some cards are going to be useless. I'm sure against any particular matchup, there's going to be some cards that are just bad. You side them out, and Thoughtseize is just a good overall, general good card to bring in. Anyway, welcome everyone. Welcome to the morning show where we discuss all things Magic the Gathering, the most interactive MTG stream on the internet. And we do Decklist reviews, so if you got a 75 you'd like some feedback on, hey, submit it to us, and both myself and the coffee crew would love to give you that feedback. So brew up those coffees, coffee crew, and let's brew up some magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for October 13th, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. Good morning. And what's a morning without our sponsors? People love hearing about sponsors, especially FusionGamingOnline.com, because the exciting thing about FusionGamingOnline.com is that they've got a deal of the week every single week. This week, it's save 15% off Magic Collector Edition singles. So if you're into the OG-looking cards, I mean, these are really expensive. Like, what is a Black Lotus in Collector's Edition? Even with the 15% discount, this is going to be nuts. Here you go. Collector's Edition. Oh my god. This was probably the best investment at one point. You know, the real Black Lotus was always expensive, but there was a time where this was not really that expensive. $6,000? Don't worry, don't have to get that. You can go get Lord of Atlantis and Black Border if you want. You know, they look nice because they are like the official promos of Wizards of the Coast, and you can get 15% off all these official promos when you use the deal of the week this week. But there is an additional discount, of course. Get an additional 5% off in addition to the 15% off when you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout. Supports the channel and saves you money. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Is Yawgmoth the deck for you? Do you think you have what it takes to pilot this thing? Well, you can just find out by renting with Mana Traders. You don't have to own the deck. See if it's a good deck for you. And if it is, you keep renting it, or maybe you buy into it. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. So good morning, everyone. Oh, good morning, the amazing Wally, Wet Willie, Trevor, Hugh Lee, Matt Wazix, Antonio, Mareep, Keith, Gem Mint, MTG, being as Gem Mint as usual, Cody, MTG Ectoplasm, Nick, Adrian, Gold Medals, Bearer, Baku, Aztec Guy, TCG Dude. It's been a while since I feel like I've got a bunch of content creators like watching this channel. I got a really strong sense of this last year. David Miller. We've been doing this for over a year. Oh my god. This was just like some replacement content while I waited for my new computer to show up. But now it's become real content. Good morning, GP. I was not pooping. I'm almost always washing my hair. Because it looks so dirty and greasy, and like when it's dirty and greasy, it's like It like parts out my hair. You can see like my scalp. But when it's nice and clean, I look great. I look amazing. Oh, you know the drill. 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question helps me find your questions amongst all the comments that I get on this, get on my social media channels. But if you're on Nikachu MTG Streams, the YouTube channel, you can donate with a super chat, and your question gets pushed to the top of my feed. Outland Liberator helps defeat Hammer, Veil, and Tron. Yeah, but what's the difference between that and, say, Reclamation Sage? What's the I mean, okay, if you can attack every single turn, that's pretty good, I guess. I guess that's the deal. There is one other piece of news. Someone in my comments section talked about how Blue-White Control has pushed the foil of Spreading Seas to the moon. Are you ready, people? Does anyone know what foil Spreading Seas costs? Spreading Seas is back, apparently. This is a very funny card, because there's only one printing. It has only one printing, one foil in existence. And Wizards doesn't want to reprint it just for the Merfolk players. But yeah, both Merfolk and Control both play this card. Oh yeah, spread it, that's right. Do I get 100% of the 5% discount? I do, actually. I do get 100% of the 5% discount. So you get a discount, I get money. Fusion Gaming Online is down 10%. That's basically how it works. I get 100% of the... Well, here's the thing. So you get 5% off. That's your lot. I guess my 5%... Maybe my deal was higher. So I've spilled the beans by accident. But yeah, I do get 5%. Anyway, okay, here it goes. Boom! $100. The foil Spreading Seas going for $100. That's insane. It's been there before. It's gonna crash. Like, people are just gonna sell into the hype. It's like, oh my god, my foil Spreading Seas are worth $100. Sell, sell, sell. Someone call up my mortgage... Sorry, not mortgage. Someone call up my broker. My TCG broker. Call up the TCG broker. I would like to sell 4 copies of foil Spreading Seas. Get on that. I'll take whoever. I'll get it on that market. Anyway, it's pretty ludicrous. That's it. And I remember the first time that this happened, the Merfolk community was like, "Oh my god, why didn't I get my Spreading Seas earlier?" And then look, it collapsed to nothing. Anyone who bought Spreading Seas like within the last, I don't know, year and a half, oh, you made big. Dang, that's a good sponsorship. Oops. Dang, that's a good sponsorship. Love Fusion Gaming. I also love Fusion Gaming. I basically exclusively buy my cards from Fusion Gaming. Fusion Gaming doesn't have it, I just don't buy it. I wait for Fusion Gaming to have it. Make a new side channel, TCG Broker. Yeah, we're going to rival Rudy from Alpha Investments. I will just talk about this really nonsense stuff. Look, this card's spiked. Get in on that. Don't buy. Sell. Your suspense for the foil price didn't work because it's written at the top. Oh. I fucked up. Yeah, you're right. I had to do this. Damn it. That's okay. It wasn't that important. Alright, where's the questions? Let's see. I firmly believe people haven't figured out how to play Grist and Dakin yet. You mean you want to play them both in the same deck? A bug deck? I guess it's possible. For your information, I got the notification on Facebook first this minute. Facebook is pretty powerful like that. Facebook, they know how to send notifications. YouTube can be really laggy. Like, I've seen posts from Pleasant Kenobi on YouTube, like actual posts on YouTube, where he says, I'm going live in like an hour, but the post gets to me 3 days later, so sometimes YouTube can be like really slow. Antonio, Yogg seems so vulnerable. What if they just don't let you cast or keep creatures? Well, they've got well, that's the thing. They've got resilience, you know? So not all of these, like, first off, let's take, so you got to kill the Grist, otherwise the Grist just makes value. But then there are things like Geralf's Messenger that has Undying, so if you kill it, it comes back. And same thing with Yawgmoth. It's Yawgmoth. And not to mention, if Yawgmoth hits the battlefield, they can sack whatever creature you target, they just sacrifice it and draw a card. So they can exchange as many creatures that they want to draw a card. Oh yeah, and Strangleroot Geist also has Undying. So it's not so easy to just kill off the creatures, because actually the creatures come back. They come back the very next day. When do you think we'll be able to play big tournaments again? Apparently November 19th. Channel Fireball's hosting a Grand Prix-like event. But did the SCG Con happen yet? I don't think so. What's going on with this SCG Con? Let's look it up. It looks like big events are back. It's not the safest yet. Oh, it's coming at the end of this month. Countdown to SCG Con. Oh, they've got they have a YouTube video. Let's go watch the YouTube video. All right, everyone, gather around. It's time for video time. Is that it? Oh, damn it. I thought they were going to... I'm sorry. I thought it was going to be more interesting. SCG Con is one of my favorite events. Gavin Verhey, Wizards of the Coast. You heard it there. No tricks, all treats. Nearly after a 2-year hiatus, SCG Con returns. So they're going to have a big event. Who's showing up? They're going to have artists. You can have proof of vaccination, of course, or you can have a negative COVID-19 test result, and I think all masks required. Same thing with what Channel Fireball is going to be doing. An amazing time. Blah, 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 blah. So the deal is, they're testing the big events. So starting with October at the end of this year, do we know how safe SCG event is going to be? I'm worried. Well, okay, let me put it this way. I mean, it's not going to be perfectly safe. Like, so you have some responsibility to yourself. Like, don't touch people. Be as secure as possible. I can tell you based on the comments I sometimes get in this chat and on my comment section that perhaps the most dangerous people are not showing up to these events because they don't want to show a negative test result and they don't want to wear a mask. And if they don't want to do that, then they're not going to show up. So I think like-minded people are going to be there. So the deal is that it's not going to be 100% safe. So you got to take as many precautions as you can yourself. And you can wait and see what happens. But I still plan on going to the Vegas. As long as it's not a hassle to, because I need a negative COVID test on the way there, because I am a foreigner in America. Canadians are foreigners. So I gotta, well, whatever. It's the rule by the flight. I need a negative code. That's fine. But getting on the way back seems like an annoying hassle. So I gotta figure out when, because I need it 72 hours before I go back to Canada. So my plan, I'm going there without COVID. I'm coming back without COVID. So I'm going to take responsibility for myself and for everybody else. Borders are still closed, although I just got word this morning that they're going to open them up in November. Not that I'm going to drive down to Vegas anyway. I would fly. So, do you have to wear... that's a really good question. I do not know what the rules are going to be around shuffling and cutting the opponent's deck, because I don't really think it's a good idea to be touching other people's decks. On the other hand, we got to prevent the cheating. So I'm curious what those standards are going to be. We're going to wait to see what they do at SCG Con for more information. But the truth is, like, if you really are a diehard for a big open event, they're sort of back. I think this is like a test. So SCG Con is the first one, and then, well, really the first one was the Flesh and Blood event, and that was the Wild Wet. They did not ask for a COVID result or anything. They did no proof of vaccination, and all you needed was a mask. So that was, they were really loose with the regulations. But as far as most people know, it went off without a hitch. Have you thought about applying for dual citizenship? It might help you out being a foreigner. Nah, it's not a big deal. Especially for, between Canada and the United States, we're basically the same country as far as I'm concerned. Except when it comes to healthcare. Then you're happy to be a Canadian. So, I mean, that's the question. So anyway, that answers the question. There are some open events that are back. And on a Grand Prix-like scale. But, just fair warning, I mean, you go at your own risk. And I intend to take as many precautions as humanly possible when I go. It's not gonna be loose. But, that's how it is. Can get a $50 rapid antigen test at Shoppers Drug Mart going down, and heard you can get a free PCR test at Walgreens coming back. You know what's hilarious? Every province in Canada, Shoppers Drug Mart has the test, except Manitoba, where I'm from. I have to go somewhere else. That's fine. I know where to get the test. It's not a problem. It's going back that's a problem. Because I have to arrange going to get the test, and I need to take the test, and I need to call the taxi back, and I got to do this while the event is going on, right? Like, I got to do this on the Friday, and like, I don't want to spend my evening going to get a test when I really want to be going to sleep to wake up for the next day. Or maybe the best thing to do is I wait till Saturday to get the test, because that's when the Modern event is done. Modern is from Friday to Saturday. I wait till Saturday, I get the test Saturday, get my result, and then I go back. Yeah, but cases have been very high, and and as a Canadian, I think I take a lot of risk going down, because if I get it, I don't intend on getting it, but if I get it, I'm like stuck in the United States for like 2 weeks or something, like in a hotel. They're not gonna let me on the plane. They're not gonna let me on the plane back. So I'm frozen here. Some things can be expedited. I know you can get a PCR result within 30 minutes. It depends who, like, I think it might depend on how much money you're spending. So as someone who's never been to an event like Vegas or SCG Con, what are those events like in terms of how they're planned, laid out? Well, the thing is, well, you've never been to one, so here's the deal. There's always two, well, at least, okay, I'm going to speak on behalf of GPs, because I haven't been to a lot of big SCG events, especially their SCG Con. For GPs, there's two, no, usually at GPs, there's one big event. Friday, there's nothing. There's just side events. People play for buys, which don't exist anymore, or people play for just side events for booster boxes and cards from the prize wall. And then on Saturday, the main event starts, whether it be whatever the format is. Let's say it's Modern. Those are the ones I've been from. So we start in Modern. on Saturday, and it runs until Sunday. Now, while that event is happening, you can play all sorts of side events. You can go play Commander, you can play Modern, Pioneer, Legacy. There's side events for all this stuff, and you can play an unlimited number of times. They're firing these events off like once every 4 hours for every format. So there's the main event, but then there's those side events. And at the same time, you can go check out artists. You can get your cards signed. They'll usually ask for like $1. So they'll have some price. You get your cards altered by your favorite artist for a price. What else? You can hang out with cosplayers. I don't know. That's about it. I need the no. Well, here's the deal. I'm double vaccinated, so I don't need the negative test for the event. Although if you're not double vaccinated, you need the test for the event. But I do need it for the flight. Like, the flight's not gonna let me on unless I have the negative COVID test. That's the rules. Yeah, there is actually no main event. There's just 2 events simultaneous. There's gonna be a modern event, and then there's gonna be a limited event in Vegas. So, anyway, a lot of people were wondering for last year, when are they gonna make big events? And it looks like SCG and Channel Fireball are making their own moves on their own. They're the ones testing the waters, probably because Wizards of the Coast themselves can't. Wizards of the Coast usually likes to have like a ton of events planned in a year straight, but they can't guarantee anything like that. New YouTube notifications take forever for you because of Canada Post. I don't think it has anything to do with Canada. It's Keith Stoltz. Why is everyone playing Nihil Spellbomb over Tormod's Crypt? Is the potential draw card for 2 mana worth it? Seems a bit expensive. What's the deal? Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it a lot. Tormod's Crypt is the exception if you are playing with Lurrus, but Nihil Spellbomb. Here's the deal. Like, there's a lot of situations where you might have this on the board, but you never need to use it. Like, maybe your opponent, like, never plays their graveyard combo or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you're behind on the board in some other way, so you need a card. Or let's say you're missing land drops. You really need the card. You don't need to exile your opponent's graveyard. All right, let's crack this thing for a card. Actually, sorry, you can do both with Nihil Spellbomb. I was thinking of Soul Guide Lantern. Anyway, the ability to get a card off of this is massive. And the utility with Nihil Spellbomb specifically is that you can exile the opponent's graveyard for nothing, but you have the option to draw a card. That's way better than Tormod's Crypt. The only reason you'd want to play with maybe Tormod's Crypt... Well, I mean, I guess you could play Tormod's Crypt or Nihil Spellbomb in a Lurrus deck. I mean, Tormod's Crypt, I think, only started seeing play because of Lurrus, though, because it's free. It's less taxing. Does someone already play Sign of Draco deck? How does it work? There have been a few builds. Zoo. Domain Zoo. Look up Domain Zoo. Okay, how about this? I'll look up Domain Zoo. Oh, we got something from Channel Fireball. Here you go. Sign of Draco. Take a screenshot of this list, but I'm gonna warn you. I have a warning here that this list is not very successful. There were some future Zoo decks that showed up within the last few months where they cut the Sign of Draco, and actually the deck performed better. So it turns out Sign of Draco might be like just too much hassle to get into play, basically. That's the deal. So Grist is a real card. They were my pick for best Planeswalker in Modern Horizons 2. Wasn't there like not many Planeswalkers though? But it wasn't quite lived up to its potential. It's a tricky card because it's not overwhelmingly powerful. And clearly people said, oh, you can find it with Collected Company, you can find it with Court of Calling, you can find it with Eldritch Evolution. But here's the problem. What decks are playing any of those cards? Who's playing Collected Company anymore? Who's playing Court of Calling? That's the problem. So it's a good card, and probably any Court of Calling deck would want it. But nobody plays those cards right now. They're like very unpopular. until, like, except for the Yawgmoth deck. They're the only ones playing with, like, almost all of them. They're playing with, well, they're playing 2 out of the 3. They're got the Eldritch Evolution, and they've got the, what's it called, Chord of Calling. Trevor Just, since we are guessing amounts and watching YouTube videos, guess how many people saw my daughter's dancing video, Maddie waiting for the beat to drop. I'm going to guess either 10 or 100. It's either 10 views or 100,000 views. You wouldn't, I don't think you would ask this question either way. Where do we go here? How is Jeskai Phoenix in the meta right now? We think that would last? I don't think Jeskai Phoenix is even a deck right now. I think Izzet Phoenix is a bit of a deck. Just a little bit of a deck. But if you're talking about Pioneer, it's a great deck. Phoenix is a fantastic deck right now. Are you going to record the Vegas trip? Probably. Probably. I don't know how... Here's the deal. I am like 100 times more popular than I was last time I went to a GP, so I have no idea how much time I'm going to be spending talking to people. I might end up spending more time talking to people than vlogging. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's going to be like when I go down there. Who knows? Why not go to the events in Canada instead of the US, so no border troubles? Because it's not a GP. It's not, you know, GP is a GP. It's gonna be like there's gonna be like more than 1,000 people there. But held in Vegas, so there's gonna be a lot of space. Wonder how long the round times are gonna be, just so that we can walk to our table. Like, if you ever been to GP Las Vegas, the room is enormous. You can spend like what feels like 3 minutes just to walk from one side to the other. It's a really big hall. Okay, who's your favorite artist / art? Mine's Douglas Schur. Okay, well, I can tell you my favorite art is the Thieving Magpie here. I still love looking at this thing. Let me find a good picture. Wish I could own this thing, but it's already owned. Only one person can own it. Ignore this thing in the side. I guess someone took a picture of their art and they put the damn card over here. The Thieving... I think it's cute. This actually was a very influential card. This card got me into Magic the Gathering. This card single-handedly got me into Magic the Gathering. In a tournament full of ugly goblins and ghouls and dothies and stuff like that, I saw someone play with this card, the Thieving Magpie. I'm like, that thing is adorable. I'm going to be a blue player. I'm going to make a deck out of this, and I'm going to be a blue player. And I'm going to play 4 of these cards. So if you don't know, Thieving Magpie, it's not the worst card. But I did find out I was playing a strictly worse card than something else. Anyway, it's 4 mana for a 1/3 creature with flying. Deals damage, you draw a card. I think it's cute. But so the artist is Una Fricker. Not a fan, honestly. Not really a fan of Una's stuff. If I looked at all her art, this one stands out. Like this is like the grand masterpiece of everything she's ever done. It's not even comparable. So I mean, I really like this one from Una. It's my favorite art, but not really a fan overall of Una Fricker. My favorite artist overall, I don't know if I have one. I don't know. Maybe I have to give it to Una anyway, even though I didn't really like the other stuff. Anyway, this is it. When is the Nikachu in real life meetup in Vegas? Well, you only meet me at the convention center. I won't have anything outside of that. Like I said, I am not even going anywhere in Vegas if I go to Vegas. I'm going to my hotel room, to the convention center, back to my hotel room. I'm gonna just warn people, if you're concerned about your safety in Vegas, don't even go to Vegas. Vegas COVID rates are pretty high right now because it's like the damn casinos. Those are like germ centrals over there. So I'm not even touching that other stuff, and I wouldn't risk anything beyond going to the convention center and back to my hotel room. Like, it looks pretty bad. And I also suggest don't gamble. Like, just wait. Yeah, party in my room. Yeah, right. In Old Extended in the early 2000s, the Draw Go deck with the Magpies was neat. It was a real deck in Extended in the early 2000s. Well, then that's maybe where I found it, because that's where I saw this deck. It was in the Old Extended in the early 2000s. I didn't know that this was a real... I thought it was a standard deck that someone was playing in Extended, because it was an Extended tournament. Well, now I'm curious. What was, like, the deck that I was looking at? Extended... Thieving Magpie MTG. Do I go to extended deck? Man, the problem is these decks are so old. Oh, hold on. This thing has powder keg, so maybe this is close to it. Top 8 decks. 2015. Is this like an archive? Juice Winter, control blue. 4 counterspell, 4 miscalculation, 4 thwart, 2 daze, 2 foil, 4 accumulated knowledge, 4 powder keg. I got my powder kegs, people. I own powder keg. 3 treachery. That I didn't think about. I never thought about you ever owning that card back then. 4 thieving magpie, 3 masticore. I did have masticore in my deck. I didn't play Rishon Import. I did play 2 Dust Bowl, 2 Fairy Conclave. I didn't play that card back then. And 18 Island. I played Wasteland back then. Wastelands and Dust Bowls. Of course, I was an absolute pony back then, so I didn't know any better. I did play some Morphling, but I don't think I had it in the sideboard. I think I had it in the main deck. I don't even know how I recreate the deck that I had. And I looked at cards like Accumulated Knowledge, like garbage. Like, Accumulate. No, what do you want to play this card? You should just have a Counterspell. Counterspell is way better. At Channel Fireball's event, will you sign my whole Simic deck? If I have time, yes. So long as I have time, I will sign. So long as there's no line. Let me put it this way. If there's like 10 people and they all want things signed, you're going to have to wait till... You're going to be the last one to get your stuff signed because you want me to sign your whole deck. But I will sign stuff. I would absolutely sign stuff. But I'm going to take a screenshot of this. This is very likely the deck that I saw... Magpie deck. I'm just gonna save that for myself. This is Nikachu's origin story. Someone named Juice Winter made a deck with 3 Masticore and 4 Thieving Magpie. What other decks were there at the time? Replenish, yeah, I'm familiar with that. Rebels, Pawns of Red. This looks more... Is this more about standard though? Stompy, Accelerated Blue. This looks more... This looks like a... This looks actually standard, not extended. Because that's what I thought at the time. I thought I was looking at a standard deck that was like in extended. Because there should be Force of Will in here if it was genuinely extended. I don't think this is extended because they would have Force of Will. There's no reason not to have Force of Will. These are all actually... And there would be Wasteland. Yeah, this is just standard. This is sweet. This is a sweet standard. Let's bring it back. Let's bring back standard. I'd play that standard. Mick Mollett, what are your thoughts on the Lord Light variants of Merfolk, such as M. Hayashi that only run 1 Lord in exchange for far more interaction? I think they're fine. I've accidentally played with no Lords before, and I got a 5-0, although I couldn't replicate it. I do think you still need a certain... Here's the deal. I think we should have at least 4 Lords, but it's not clear if we should have 8. Think about that. Like, we only play 8 because we're like, 4 Lords isn't enough. We need to have the Master of the Pearl Trident in addition to Lord of Atlantis, or maybe the other way around, because Lord of Atlantis can be a liability. But do we really need 8? What's the real number? Is it 6? 7? Sometimes it's a lot. Sometimes we want a lot. But if I go down to 8, maybe 8's not the real number. Maybe 7's the real number. Maybe 6 is the real number. So it's just something we've never experimented with. We've just been stuck in our minds that this is a sacred cow, and we can't let it go. You know what? It makes me smile that Thieving Magpie was a tier 1 playable card. I played Magpie at my first F&M in Biloxi MS in 1999. That's the year. That's the year. Christian, during the GP matches, would it be okay for you to let your opponent divide his or her deck into piles and you choose the arrangement as a way of cutting? I think that sounds reasonable. Like, I mean, I'm just gonna look at my opponent like, okay, keep shuffling. Okay, I'm fine with that. Now cut the deck. Keep shuffling, cut the deck. Please don't look at the deck. Thomas Penny, I am starting a paper deck, Blue-White X and Blue-Red X. How do you go about collecting foils? One at a time. It's a slow process. Okay, so in my opinion, if you're really dedicated to the deck, you know you're going to be playing... First off, I'm going to... Let's be upfront about something. Foiling out your deck is really expensive. It's way more expensive than you think it is. Way more expensive for a lot of reasons. First off, foils are expensive, especially if you need to get like really good foils. Like, imagine people who foil out their decks and now all of a sudden they need 4 Ragavan. What's 4 foil Ragavan right now? I should make a video about this. Foiling out your deck is just dumb expensive. And the foil is $121. So imagine Modern Horizons 1 comes out, and boom, a staple. You need this card, and you have to dish out about $500. How do you feel about that? And that's only one card. What if there are 2 or 3? And by the way, they can get banned. Oh, and by the way, they can get replaced by even better cards later on. You know? I mean, this is the risk you take when you foil out your deck. You're constantly buying the foils, and cards can get replaced. Then now there's another risk. What if you don't really like this art and they come out with a super special promo art? Then you need to like sell these at a loss, and then you buy the super special ones. So I stopped buying foils. I would go back if, well, I guess I have the expendable money now, but at the time that I stopped, I'm like, do I want to keep spending all this money on foils? I'm like, I'm not playing as much. I like when I was playing, and also I liked playing with foils because I was playing a lot of paper Magic. All right, I'm playing a lot of paper Magic. I'm going to F&M. I'm going to a lot of GPs. But then there came a point where I'm like more of a content creator than actually like playing in person. And I was also going to less GPs, and then the pandemic hit, and there's like no reason whatsoever to buy foils. So just understand, it's really expensive to buy foils. When I did it slowly, and I looked for deals. I waited, you know, I try not to buy things immediately. I waited for deals on eBay, anywhere, you know. And I would suggest try to get your foils near mint. I will spend extra for near mint foils so I can get the premium price of it when I want to sell it. Because if there's any blemishes at all, every dealer will be like, oh, there's a little nick here. It loses half its value. People are really picky about foils, which is why you now have to be picky about your foils. The exception to this is if they're like worthless. If it's some common and you don't really care and it's $1, fuck it, who cares? Just get the scratched up one for $1, no big deal. And it's like a regular sideboard card or something. Like a niche sideboard card. $500 can probably get you a real monkey. Oh yeah, foil mana base can get you too. Yeah, you get the fetch lands, and all of a sudden they invent a new land that that replaces all old lands. I have so many cards in my foil binder. Like I got foil remand, for example. It's obsolete now to foil counterspell, right? It's obsolete. So, a lot of people when they start foiling out their deck, they realize like halfway through, after they see, you know, they have to get this card, they have to get that card. When you add up the cost today for your deck, you're like, oh, okay, this is like maybe $2,000. That's not bad. I can afford to spend $2,000 on this foil deck. But then you spend like 3 to 4 or 5 years foiling it out, and as that time goes by, you realize you need to pick up more foils and more foils because there's new cards that get printed, and then, you know, the metagame changes wildly, and all of a sudden your deck may not even be playable anymore. So you have to be in love with your deck. You need to play the deck a lot, and just understand that it's just it's insanely expensive. Most people who start the foil journey do not last. I know very few people. I'm not even that person anymore. Well, you know what really turned me off? You know, art is subjective. I don't like the art on Force and Negation. I don't like this art. I don't like it. And if I want to foil Force and Negation, like if I'm going to spend, holy shit. They actually went down by quite a bit. Now's a good time to get foil Force and Negation, $168. But if I'm going to spend $168, what is it? It's 168 times 4, really. So it's going to be like, what, $70 or $650? 168 times 4. Yeah, we're looking at $672. I want it to have a nice art. I want to enjoy the art. That's on my card. I don't want to spend $700 on a foil card just because I wanted to completely foil out my deck. I was really disappointed in this. And then when I was hoping for Modern Horizons 2 to come out with a new art, because that's what they do when they reprint cards, but they didn't do it this time. They just didn't do it. Yeah, so like even for this one, and like there was a lot of other costs in addition to this. Remember that scene in Judge Dress where the guy wandered into the desert by himself? That's basically foiling out your deck. I can't relate. I don't know what this is. Theoretically, you could design a deck with cards you have, foil out the deck, and sell the on-field version to recoup the money. Remember, when you buy and sell cards, it's messy. It's also very difficult. There's always so many fees that are involved. I fold my Urza EDH deck over 6K. You see? You see? You know what, though? It's easier to... I would say it's easier to foil out an EDH deck because you don't need every upgrade. Like, it's... You don't... I would say in my EDH deck that I don't have everything that I want to have in it. You know? I just don't. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't think the edge is even that big. I think there's bigger edge. I think there's a much bigger edge in EDH just being a good politician than being a than the deck being so raw in power. So like I don't mind if I don't have every single card that I wanted. But in Modern, you need every card you need. Like if you don't have a playset of Force and Negation, you are playing at a loss. At a theoretical loss, and it matters in a tournament. It doesn't matter when you're playing against your friends at home, but it does matter in a tournament. Then the damage foil goes from $1 to $100. It can happen. It can happen. Let's see. Hold on. That happened with Unified Will. Well, not that high, but let's look at Unified Will. Whoops. Unified Will. Yeah. Okay, so it was right before I go to GP Vegas that I think I played Unified Will. I think I played Unified Will in my sideboard for GP Vegas. So not GB Vancouver when I made the top 8. Yeah, I did. So I bought it around here, which was like $5. So I buy this from my local game store, who happened to have some scuffed up version of Unified Will, and I pointed to the guy and said, I'm gonna make this card $25. And guess what happened? It went even better. It went to $30. Had a little bit of a rocky movement, and then now it's obsolete, of course. But at the time, it was gas, and I knew it was gas. I did it. I made it $25. I forgot to call up that local game store just to tell them, I made it $25, and then just hang up on them. I did it. I knew I could do it. May just foil out namesake cards or cards that represent me as a player, Snapcaster Mage or Archmage's Charm. Be very careful with that, because at a competitive level, if there's a pattern between the cards that are foiled and non-foiled, that's a problem. That's a problem. So you got to make sure that your cards... It'd be better off that you had like 3 out of 4 of your Snapcaster Mages were foil, 2 out of 4 Archmage's Charms were foil. Like, there wasn't any like good pattern amongst everything you foiled. It's a weird thing when you go to foil your deck. You gotta sort of go all in. You can have little bits. Like no one's gonna really give a... No one cares so long as they're not too bent or marked or anything like that. Because foils are stiffer. You can feel it. Like you can sort of bend the top of your deck and you would be able to feel if it's a foil or not. That's the problem. And also foils, they usually have a little bit of a bend to them, which is okay. It's okay to have a little bit of a bend, but the problem is when when some particular cards have the little bit of a bend and some don't, that can be a problem. But if it's all a big huge mix together, it's no problem. If it's double sleeved, it usually takes a lot of the... It doesn't take the bend out, but it makes all the cards puffy enough that it doesn't matter anymore. Should have told them the price went up on the counterspell and sell it back to them for more. Should have done that. I'm a fool. I'm just a fool. But they were scuffed up. But anyway, I didn't mind. Did you actually play? Yeah, I did. I made top 8 at a Grand Prix. I got a top 8 at the Grand Prix with that card. I think I did. Couldn't you technically get called out for marked cards if deck is only partially foiled? Only if there's a pattern. That's the only thing the judges will care about, is if there is a pattern. So what is super, super illegal is if all your lands are foil or all your non-lands are foil. That is a big problem. That's a common one, because, you know, foiling out your mana base sometimes is the easiest thing to do, assuming you're not playing with fetch lands. So there's a lot of, well, especially in Standard, so some people will want to foil out all their islands and then, like, the rest of the deck is not foiled out. That's a problem. But so long as it's a mix of all sorts of cards, it's not a problem. But yeah, a judge could look at your deck and say, nope, this doesn't look good. And Trevor's like, do you hear that music? All right, Trevor's getting better at this. He knows what's up. Should have done this 2 minutes ago. Anyway, it's time for Decklist review. You got a 75 you want to share with us? Hey, go into my description. There's a link to the Discord. Go to the Discord. Go to Decklist review. And use the command !review deck space. Give the URL to your deck list. And you'll be eligible at random for Decklist review. That is the deal. Also, I'll still have this option open. You can send 25 USD to paypal.me/NikachuMTG. Leave your deck list there. Leave a link to your deck list in the comments, and you will 100% get a chance to, you'll 100% get your deck list reviewed and a match played by me. One match. If not, up to the dice. You're randomly chosen. Just like Blizzard here got randomly chosen. Blizzard says affinity on a budget. Okay. Okay, alright. Let's review some decks. Let's review affinity. Now, I think you can get pretty far on affinity. Might be with the best budget deck right now. Is Thought Monitor really $1? That seems like a steal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is a really good card for $1. And that's from, like, a Modern Horizon set. Okay, what is this? Why is Memnite $30 here? Okay, now I don't really trust the prices anymore. The prices have gone out the window. There's no fucking way Memnite... Is Memnite really $30? Is there, like, no other printing of Memnite out there? I don't believe this. Memnite was supposed to be the cheaper card in Affinity. What the hell? It even has a mystery booster. What is going on here? Well, it's collapsing, but still. Who the hell wanted to buy out Memnite? Idiots. Are there any videos that explain how to play Yawgmoth deck? Look up Tom Ross. Especially follow him on Twitter. I think he's called Boss Ross or something on Twitter. He's the master. He's one of the masters. He has a Yawgmoth community you want to be a part of. Look up Tom Ross. Look up Tom Ross on Twitter, and hopefully that will lead you. I don't know if he personally has any videos, but he does stream here and there. I think he did a collaboration with MTG Nerd Girl, so you might be able to look up Yawgmoth. Like, what happens if we look up Yawgmoth Tom? Well, okay, anyway, I'm not gonna look that up because we're doing Decklist review, but looks like a foil. No, it looks like it's the real thing. $6 a Memnite, close to 24. Thoughtcast, Galvanic Blast. So okay, so here, before I even go too far, I'm foreseeing some problem that maybe you won't have the mana available to cast blue and red in the same deck. It's possible. I like this. Emery, Lurker of the Loch in an artifact deck. I like that a lot. I've never seen that happen. Mishra's Bauble, Welding Jaw, Pithing Needle, Shadow Spear. Well, how budget is this? You have Urza Saga in here. Lies, all lies. So let's look at your mana base now. Darksteel Citadel, Glimmer Void. You have 1 Glimmer Void, 1 Island, Silver Bluff Bridge. So you can create treasure tokens. Your mana base sucks! You have the Springleaf Drum, but that's not enough. 4? Like, you need 13 of one source. So that's 4. 7. You have 8 islands, 9 with Glimmer Void. You gotta cut the Galvanic Blast. Because I think you're heavier on blue. You have to cut Galvanic Blast and all the red stuff. And you just have to go all islands. Or you do it the other way around. But I think Thought Monitor and Thoughtcast are good enough that you want to keep those cards. You just don't have the mana base to play 2 colors. Treasure Vault, even Treasure Vault's not even going to do it. Like, you need 13 of each source. So even if you have Treasure Vault here, which doesn't even give you the colored mana, you have to put effort in to get that colored mana. Well, whatever, maybe it's okay. So you have 4, 7, 8. I guess you have enough islands? It's tough, it's close. Whatever happened to Etch Champion? It's okay. It's okay. There are bigger and beefier things out there, though. Maybe this will work better than I think it does, because you do get the treasure token. Maybe you're still going to get the affinity for artifact. You can cast it with the discount, then sack the treasure token to pay the cost. You're back with helping with laundry? Welcome back. Yeah, the tournament with MTG Nerd Girls. Look up MTG Nerd Girl, I don't know, Yawgmoth or Tom Ross, and hopefully the event pops up. Anyway, Mishra's Bauble, Tormod's Crypt, Galvanic Blast, Glaring Spotlight, Grafdigger's Cage, Pithing Needle, To Abrade, Guy's Blessing, Emery, Girper, Ether Grid, and Metallic Rebuke. I mean, I think your list is really cool. I think it's really cool. The only scary thing is the mana base. The mana base is very concerning. Maybe it's not concerning. Okay, what does a regular affinity mana base look like? Let's up Glimmer, or actually Memnite. No, can't look up Memnite. I'll get. What is an exclusively affinity card? Thoughtcast. So, I just want to look up an affinity deck. Because the deck is fine. I'm just curious what we can learn. Here we go. Blue-red affinity. Perfect. Exactly what we were looking for. Oh, it's the same thing. It's the same. Oh, they play with Spire of Industry, though. Silver. So what is different? They have Darksteel Citadel, Island, 3. Oh, they're not playing with Glimmer Void. Interesting. Oops. But they are playing with Treasure Vault. What is there? They have Springleaf Drum. So they're opting for Spire of Industry instead of the Glimmer Void. But hold on, what's the difference? They have 18 lands. They have 18 lands and you're running 17. I would copy them. I would get the Spire of Industry and like take out something. What are we taking out? I don't know. One of these cards. Whether it be a welding. What do we need the Mishra's Bauble for? Oh, you want it for Emery. Mana base, we play our shit for free. Well, we play everything for free except for the cards that we don't. No, Treasure Vault apparently will... Well, Treasure Vault works really well with Sorin... Because it's an artifact land. It's literally an artifact land, so it works well with Sojourner's Companion. If I'm pronouncing that correct, which feels like I'm not. Sojourner. Sojourner's Companion. Sojourner. Dorjourno. I'm just making fun of Sojourner's Companion. Add a land. I don't care what you cut. You add that land. Everything else is fine. Get either another Glimmer Void or you get Spire of Industry, or get rid of Glimmer Voids entirely and get Spire of Industry. That's it. The rest of the list is cool. I should play an Affinity deck one day. Feel the power of Affinity. Bob the Builder. Hi, Bob. Blue-White Saga. Esper Sentinel, Aether Swarm Canonist, Ingenious Smith, Emery, Looker of the Lock, and Thought Monitor. We got another artifact deck, basically. Karn Sign of Urza. What is the appeal of Karn Sign of Urza? Is it budget? It's not budget. Like, what's the appeal of this over Karn the Great Creator? Reveal top cards. Put a card you own with a silver counter on it. From exile into your hand, and you can create... Well, I guess it's a construct maker. -2, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token. Okay, maybe it's okay. You know, I can relate. Like, that's a pretty good value in a deck where you put like a bunch of artifacts on the battlefield. It's like Urza, but it's Karn, and you can make more. You know, the more I look at it, the more I like it. Because I've been playing with Urza a little bit, and Urza is, like, Urza just to create the construct token is amazing. And I don't even give a crap about the pay 5 mana, get ability. I just want to make construct tokens. Dispatch, Metallic Rebuke, Mishra's Bauble, Aether Spellbomb, Map, Pithing Needle, Portable Hole. Do you need... yeah, this is good because it has a synergy with Emery and Thought Monitor. Just remember, you can't get Portable Hole with your Urza Saga because you have to find a... Well, search your library for an artifact with mana cost 0 or 1. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. No, but you can. When Portable enters the battlefield, target non-land permanent opponent... No, you can find this, can't you? This looks like good synergy. This looks like good synergy. Look for your Portable Hole. Unless I'm missing something. It's an artifact that costs 1. Shadow Spear, Springleaf Drum, and Nettle Cyst. Is there any way to find Nettle Cyst, or is this like the 5th Thought Monitor, Ingenious Smith. Oh, you can sort of dig for it with Ingenious Smith. Nah, it's 0 or 1. So it's only colorless. Search your library for an artifact card with mana cost 0. Oh, it very specifically says generic mana for 0 generic mana or 1 generic mana. Right, and you can't get this because this is not a mana value. Right. So that's why we don't see this interaction. Keep that in mind. Yeah, it very specifically says mana cost, not mana value 0 or 1. If it was mana value, you could get it. Okay, screw that. Darksteel Citadel, Glimmer Void, Hollow Fountain, Island Plains, Razor. The bridge. It's the indestructible artifact land. It's like Seachrome Coast, but comes into play tap, but it's an artifact. Urza Saga. Darksteel Citadel, Glimmer Void, Hollow Fountain Island. What's the point of a Hollow Fountain? Okay, whatever. It's okay. Engineer Explosive, Soul Guide Lantern, Disenchant, Dovin's Veto, Rest in Peace, Stoneforge, Mystic Torpor Orb, 2 Void Mirror, and 1 Cauldron complete. What do you guys think? I have no thoughts on this. I don't know how well this is going to work in the deck. Each player who has cast a non-artifact spell this turn can't cast an additional non-artifact spell. I can't tell if this is going to be good or like a waste of a slot, but the rest of it is like pretty fine. No cranial. No cranial. Well, the thing is, this deck isn't trying to be evasive. To be honest, I don't even know what this deck is trying to do. How is this deck supposed to win? It's like a weird control deck. It's like Karn Sign of Urza is like the win condition, because nothing else really wins. If anything else, this deck should have like another Nettle Cyst in it, so you can find it appropriately. Brittle Afigi. This is a card. Exile target creature. I don't think it needs more interaction. I mean, you could put it somewhere, but actually, I would not play this. It's just too expensive. 4 mana to exile something. That's right, it didn't say converted. So we need more... Maybe we need more Karns. Because looking at this deck, you have a lot of synergy. You have you're gonna grind and stuff like that. You're gonna draw cards, but I don't see you winning the game. Like 2/2 Thought Monitor is not gonna get it done. I can see Karn Sign of Urza doing something. You land Karn, you make the construct. Maybe you get to untap and make a second construct. Karn Sign of Urza actually protects itself very well. Maybe an underrated Planeswalker in Modern. You mean glitters? Enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. I think if I'm playing with all that glitters, I might as well play with more Nettle Cysts in this deck. I know it runs white, but I don't want to depend on white to cast these auras. Because if the creature dies, then the whole thing gets blown out. But if the creature dies with Nettle Cyst, you got a Nettle Cyst on the battlefield. You can still attach it to another thing. Where's the Lodestone Golem? It's 4 mana. It's a problem. We have 4 dispatch. We got it here. Okay, so this is what I would suggest. I would suggest you play more Karns or you play Urza. I don't think that's anything... and also, I think you should play with more Nettle Cysts. It is not clear that you need this card. Also, it's not clear that you need this card. Like, yeah, it'll slow your opponent down, but also they'll probably just kill it. This should be a sideboard card. Stoneforge is also possible, but then we're starting to... Well, whatever. Stoneforge is possible. But I would like to just make aware that I don't think you have any good ways of winning the game. Like, a lot of these things like Aether Spellbomb and Pithing Needle and Portable Hole, you're just slowing the game down, but ideally you're attacking your opponent back for a lot of damage at the same time. To compensate. But you don't have anything to, like, make a lock on the board. And if you're not locking your opponent out, then like you're just sitting in the water dead. My fear with the way you've built this deck is you're gonna interact, but at some point your interaction's gonna like peter out, and then your opponent plays a big threat, and then you have nothing for it, and you have no counterattack. So you need at least some way to counterattack. So you gotta like need more Karns, Urzas, Construct Tokens plus Nettle Cyst seems fine with me. Esper Sentinel's not cheap. It's a very popular card in Hammer Time right now. Very popular card in Hammer Time. Probably popular card in Commander. So I would look into thinking about Urza. Probably take out the Canonist, because I don't see any dedicated need for this card. If you don't want to take out Canonist, take out... We gotta take out something. Dispatch, Metallic Rebuke. Maybe you take out the Portable Hole, because it doesn't have synergy with Urza Saga anyway, and you need to make room for something. Like, your numbers are okay. Like, the way the deck is built is fine. I think you built a nice deck. It's a nice, cute little deck. Hold on, what's your mana base like? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you have a Springleaf Drum for 13, so that's fine. Oh yeah, I love Sai. Sai is great. So you have Dovin's Veto, Stoneforge Mystics is in the sideboard. This probably should be in the main deck. Actually, not probably. It should be in the main deck. Maybe with the Cauldron Complete. Like, I'll tell you this. If you have 4 Stoneforge Mystic in the main deck with the Cauldron Complete and the Nettle Cyst in the main, boom, done. 4 Stoneforge Mystic, though. So maybe get rid of... Move Ether Swarm Canonist to the sideboard, put the Stoneforge Mystic in the main with the Cauldron Complete, take out, say, 2 Portable Holes to put an extra Stoneforge Mystic into your Complete, and I think your deck is good. Because I think 4 Stoneforge Mystic and then you randomly finding Karn Sign of Urza would probably be enough to... And also, of course, Ingenious Smith will dig for Cauldron Complete or... well, you don't really want to dig for Cauldron Complete, but dig for Nettle Cyst, and that'll be good. I think that would work out. Good luck with the list! And that's it, people. You know, the show... But the show will go on next day, as it does every other day. If I didn't get to your comments, questions, or deck list, hey, we do this to Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. If you'd love to support the channel and you don't do so already, leave a sub at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG or patreon.com/NikachuMTG. Or if you want to support the channel, you can also join on YouTube. They got a membership service there. So thank you very much, everyone, for showing up this morning, making me a part of your daily routine. So keep brewing up those coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care.